Hello everyone, this is R.Sudhakar Reddy, Assistant Professor, Department of Mining Engineering, Aditya University. Today we are going to discuss about coal mining regulations itself because it's a big topic. Okay. So after this lecture, students are able to know about various regulations incorporated in the CMR, the regulations regarding cage suspension gear, winding, duties and responsibilities, like this. So, what are the duties and responsibilities of the mines manager? First of all, when a student passes BTech mining after 1 year experience, he is eligible to become a mines manager. So, once he becomes a mines manager, what are the duties and responsibilities? In every mine, daily personal supervision shall be exercised by the manager. So, as usually, whether it is a HOD or principal, personal supervision is mandatory, provided that in case of working below ground, he shall examine the working at least 4 days in every week. In case of workings below ground, that is underground workings, so he should inspect the mine at least 4 days in every week to ensure safety in every respect, and provided that one visit in every fortnight shall be made during the night shift. So, for example, he is going in the daytime, I mean to say 4 times in a week, but at least one time should be night time once in every 15 days. That is the meaning of fortnight. And then manager should maintain a bound-paged book kept for the purpose, a diary, and shall record therein the result of each of the inspections and the action taken by him to rectify the defects. So, whenever he go into the mine, whatever he observed, he should maintain the data in a book kept for the purpose. And what are the things taken to rectify that flaws, if any found? The manager shall make arrangements for all overmen and other officials to meet him or the assistant manager once in every working day for the purpose of conferring on the matters connected with the duties. Either he or his subordinate, that is assistant manager, should make arrangement for every foreman or any subordinate should meet them regarding the aspects of safety or some other related thing. So, he should be available to all subordinates. That is the meaning of this point. And the manager should assign to every competent person. So, I hope everyone knows the definition of competent person, who has completed the age of 20 years and who is authorized in writing by the mines manager, not agent or owner, and he should be responsible for method of working and machinery. So, the manager shall assign to every competent person particular duties. So, what are the duties of him? And take all possible steps to ensure that such person understands and carries out provisions contained in this act, rules, regulations, and thereunder in the so. He should hand over the particular duties. So, whenever he is assigned a particular duties, the competent person carry out that duties only which are assigned to him by the mines manager. The manager should provide every overman with a tracing up to date, at least that is date of the last survey. Generally 3 months once in a mines the survey will carry on, showing the workings of the districts below ground assigned to him, and such staging shall, where any work or reduction or extraction of pillars is being carried out, show clearly a reference of the permissions and the manner in which such reduction or pillars. So, the manager should hand out updated tracing to the overman which contains exact places of workings, whether reduction or exact extraction of pillars is going on. The manager shall examine all reports. So, this is one of the important things. All registers and other records required to be made or kept in pursuance of the provisions of the act or the regulations or orders made thereunder, and shall countersign same with the date. So, he should examine all reports, registers and other records, and he should countersign the same with the date also. That is one of the mandatory. And the manager shall give attention to, cause to be carefully investigate any specific representation or complaint that may be made to him in writing by an employee of the mine as to any matter affecting the safety or health of the person. So, whenever any employee, if he has given any complaint regarding safety or health, so manager should take full attention. Similarly, there is workman inspector or welfare officer, all these persons, or even safety officer, if they meet manager and they give some suggestions, so the manager should pay attention. The manager shall perform such other duties as have been prescribed in the behalf under the provisions of act and the regulations. So, not only the duties which were specified, he should take control of the inventory, he should take control of the various things actually. So, he is the whole and soul, he should take care and control of the auto garage also. Every time he has to inspect all the things which a mine is embodied. the manager may suspend or take such disciplinary action against any employee for the contravention of any of the provisions of the act or regulations. So, if any employee doesn't listen to the orders of manager, and he is having power to take a disciplinary action. So, this is one of the important thing employees should mind whenever they enter the mine. And duties of safety officer, these are the important question for NSEM examinations. Maybe they will ask about duties of mines manager or safety officer, ventilation officer. So, duties of a safety officer shall be to visit surface or underground parts of the mine with a view to meet the workers on the spot, to talk to them on the matters of safety and invite suggestion. So, it is the duty of a safety officer to meet the workers who are working. So, it should go on real time to talk them on the matters of safety and invite suggestions. So, this is one of the important aspect for safety officer. And next point, to take charge of the newly recruited staff. So, whoever comes into the mine, to take charge of the newly recruited staff and show them around the mine, pointing out safe and unsafe acts during the course of their work. So, whenever an employee is recruited, so he should be meet the safety officer, and safety officer should give him just like a orientation course, like just like what is safe act, what is unsafe act, what he has to do, all these things. And he is also having a responsibility to investigate all types of accidents and incidents in the mine, including minor accidents, and analyze the same with a view to pinpoint the nature and common causes of accidents. So, he is having power to investigate the cause, and he should also give how the accident can be prevented in the future, and to maintain a detailed stats about the mine accidents and to analyze them same with a view to pinpoint the nature and common. Again, he should maintain stats of all different types of accidents. So, generally in any mine, so what are the types of accidents which commonly occur, at what time accidents will happen, these are the some stats a safety officer should maintain. And similarly, to study and apprise the manager of all possible sources of danger such as inundation, fire, coal dust and others. So, it is a duty of a safety officer, whenever anything, if he feel or if he notice something going wrong, then it is responsible to immediately suggest to the mines manager. And to organize safety weeks and other safety education and propaganda programs in the mine. This is one of the important aspects in which nowadays group mines under one cluster, they will organize safety weeks. So, and they are tested under various domains, for example, explosives and VTC, auto garage, all this under separate domains, and the mine which got the best degree of safety will be awarded during the safety week. So, like this, so it is the responsibility of safety officer to organize safety week and safety education and propaganda programs in the mine. And it is the responsibility of a safety officer to see that all concerned mine employees are fully conversant with the various standing orders, such as those related to the stoppage of the mine, main mechanical ventilator, and to the occurrence of fire and other emergency in the mine. So, codes of practices and support plan. So, it is the responsibility of safety officer to make them educate whenever there is standing order, suppose closing of main mechanical ventilator or in case of emergency. So, all the employees should be well conversant with these standing orders. And it is the responsibility of safety officer to provide assistance in the formation of program for training at the mine level. So, it is his responsibility. At the mine level, he is the whole and soul in case of training, which includes vocational training, training in gas testing, training on the first aid also. And similarly, to report to the manager as a result of his visits to the various parts of the mine as to whether the provisions of the act, the rules, regulations made. So, whenever he went for visiting the mine or inspecting the mines, if any flaw is there, it is the responsibility of safety officer to report it to the mines manager. To promote safe practices generally, and to lend active support to all measures intended for furthering the cause of safety in the mine, and follow measures for compliance of recommendations of safety committee and workman inspector. So, there are two things. If workman inspector, because he generally visits every time, so he will be the right person, and safety officer should take the suggestions of the workman inspector. Similarly, safety officer is also secretary to the safety committee, so he is generally integrated with the safety committee. So, he has to take the suggestions of safety committee and workman inspector, and he should enforce the such. And duties of ventilation officer. Right now we have completed duties of mines manager, duties of safety officer. Now it is the duty of ventilation officer. Ventilation officer shall ensure the observance of all regulations, orders concerning ventilation. So he has restricted his movements to the ventilation, spontaneous heating, fire, gas, coal dust, including dust suppression. So his duty is to these domains only: ventilation, spontaneous heating, fire, gas and coal dust, including dust suppression. And he has to advise the manager if any alteration, I mean say if something is some more gas is found, then he has to inform like that. If any alteration is required in the ventilation system to ensure adequacy of ventilation. Sometimes generally humidity levels are more in some seasons, so he has to check the ventilation should be appropriate. Sometimes more dust, then he has to reduce the ventilation. So like that, a ventilation officer to work with mines manager in tackling all these things, and should advise the manager on day-to-day problems of ventilation, gas, coal dust, spontaneous heating and fire. And it is the responsibility of ventilation officer to ensure that sufficient quantity of good air is coursed into all working places and reaches all workings below ground. And for this purpose, and shall see that ventilation stoppings, brattices constructed as per specifications and are kept extended sufficiently. So he should see and he should inspect all ventilation devices, just like doors, brattices, and they are working in a proper order, because the main purpose of inspecting all these things is to see that sufficient quantity of good air is coursed into all working places. That is the main purpose of checking the ventilation. And he should see that measurement of air quantity, temperature, humidity are regularly taken as specified, and bring up to date the entries on the checkboards provided at each air measurement station. So there are some specific stations where air measurement need to be done. At such points, air quantity, temperature, humidity reading should be noted, and at what time and the date also that should be specified. So that is the one of the duty of ventilation officer. And he should maintain separate tracing of the ventilation, rescue, stone dusting, dust sampling plans, bring them up to date. So surveyor duty is different, ventilation officer duty is different. So surveyor generally he do only surface plan, water danger plan, underground plan, all these things, joint survey plan. But it is the duty of ventilation officer to maintain separate space tracing of the ventilation, rescue, stone dusting and dust sampling plans. And it is the duty of ventilation officer to bring to the notice of surveyor any changes in the ventilation system or ventilation appliances, shall ensure that all old markings on the ventilation and rescue plans are corrected and new ventilation circuits are shown forthwith. So even ventilation officer should coordinate with surveyor also. That is the summary of this point. And regularly check the barometer provided at the mine and report any unusual change in the barometric pressure to the manager for appropriate action. This is one of the important things. Generally in mines manager officer and ventilation officer, one barometer will be there. He has to check the barometer pressure every day. If any unusual change is there, he has to report it to the mines manager. Take care of the instruments and apparatus used in the mines for environmental monitoring. Ensure that all such instruments are maintained in good order. So even in our lab, lot of equipment is there in mine ventilation lab as well as mine environment engineering lab. For example, anemometer, kata thermometer, all these things, and even inclined manometer. So it is the responsibility of, ventilation officer to see that these instruments are working in good condition or not. So next topic is, we have completed duties and responsibilities of mines manager, duties and responsibilities of safety officer, duties and responsibilities of ventilation plan. Now the next comes general requirements about mine plans. Every plan or section prepared or submitted in accordance with the provisions of this regulation shall specify the name of the mine. So that is the important thing. In any plan, name of the mine and the owner and the purpose for which the plan is prepared. So these three things should be there in the mine plan: name of the mine, name of the owner, purpose for which the plan is prepared, and should show the true north or magnetic meridian and the date of the lab. either it should contain true north or magnetic north, but when this direction is pointed, that is the date of the letter, and specify the scale of the plan at least 25 centimeters. Nowadays in India, the mine plans generally 1:1000 or 1:2000 depending upon the terms and conditions. Okay. So here it is, unless otherwise provided, be on a scale having a representative factor or 2000:1 or 1000:1. And there are some plans which need to be done. For example, mechanized mine only to this 2000:1. In case of small mine 1000:1, it was specified in the regulations. Provided the chief inspector may by an order in writing and subject to such conditions as he may specify therein, permit or require the plans to be prepared on any other suitable scale. So if he feels, he can also permit other scale apart from 1000:1 or 2000:1. All plans should be properly inked on durable paper, because this plan should be at least for 1 or 2 years. That's why they should be inked on durable paper, tracing cloth or any polyester film, and should be kept in the good condition. That is one of the important aspects of the plans. Generally, the question is asked, what are the prerequisites of mine plans? So the plan should contain name of the mine, name of the owner, and similarly purpose for which it is taken, and date of the true north or magnetic north, and scale. These are the important thing. And the direction of true north or magnetic north generally will be on the top right hand corner. And the conventions shown in the schedule shall be used in preparing all plans. This is one of the important aspects. Generally, any person who is going for getting license for driving, so he should understand conventions also. So similarly, even a all this mine plan should contain conventions where stoppings are there, where how the intake air is going on, how return airway is coming, all these conventions. So mine plan should follow these conventions. The plans and sections required by these regulations shall be accurate within such limits of error as the chief inspector may specify by a general or special order. So the limits of error is there. The plan should be below that limit of error. The plans and sections required with these regulations shall be maintained, corrected up to date, which is not earlier than 3 months. That's why I told you. So updated plan means within the 3 months. Beyond 3 months means you have to update, that surveyor or ventilation officer or concerned official need to update that plans. All the reference stations at the surface and reference stations of the underground surveys shall be shown in their correct position relative to the survey of India National Grid within the limits of the error survey and plotting as specified under regulations. So any reference stations, generally even the fields which our forefathers or our grand forefathers, there will be some reference station. From there the survey will start. So they should be properly shown on the plans. And types of plans, there are different types of plans. Just I showed only 2 plans, surface plan, ventilation plan. What does surface plan should contain means every surface feature within the boundaries such as telephone, telegraph, power lines and water mains, tram line, railway, road, river, water courts, reservoirs, boreholes, shaft, incline opening, open cast working, subsidence, all these things. Once I was working in a mine as a mines manager, and in that plan power lines were there, but we are not enforcing controlled blasting. Immediately inspector of the mines asked what is the distance between blasting site and that power lines. When we checked, luckily it was 550 meters. If it is below 500 meters, then that mine should adhere to controlled blasting techniques. Okay. And next, ventilation plan. What does the ventilation plan should show means sections where necessary, showing the system of ventilation in the mine, particularly general direction of air current, whether it is intake or return, every point where the quantity of measurements, just now I told air measurement stations, and where fire stopping is there, ventilation door is there, ventilation stopping. So all these things should be noted on the ventilation plan. This is one of the important duty of a ventilation officer. He should work with surveyor for this. So coming to winding ropes, because this is one of the important things which is used for winding. No rope, bar, link, chain or other attachment to a cage or other means of conveyance shall be used unless it is of a good quality. We can't use whichever the rope we wanted. It should be approved by the chief inspector of mines. Okay. The attachment between the rope and cage or other means of conveyance shall be of such type and should be maintained in such manner to obviate. So again, that attachment between cage and rope it should be of, that is called caping actually, it should be of approved type. In case of any doubt as to the fitness by rope or bar, link, chain, any other attachment, it should be referred to the chief inspector. Generally, this testing is done through non-destructive testing actually. And next point, except in sinking shaft less than 30 meters in depth, every winding rope shall be made of a cold drawn. So, this is a typical word, cold drawn steel wire in case of shafts less than 30 meters. The gauge of the wires used in the construction of such rope shall be suited to the diameter of the drum. So, again terms and conditions apply. What should be the wire also, and pulleys, sheaves of the winding installation. In any shaft, including a shaft in course of being sunk, where persons are lowered or raised and where guides are not provided, the no rope other than a rope of non-spinning type. This is one of the important things. So, non-spinning type rope should be used. And except in the sinking shaft less than 30 meters in depth, every winding rope shall be made of cold drawn. Just now, in any shaft, including a shaft of being scope. So, these are the one of the points. And suspension gear. Coming to the suspension gear, all parts of suspension gear shall be of type as approved by the suspension. So, what does cage suspension gear means? Generally, king safety hook is one of the important thing, and all parts of suspension gear in regular use shall unless otherwise permitted by chief inspector, renewed period of service of not more than 6 years. Whatever the parts of cage suspension gear should not be used for more than 6 years, and the factor of safety shall not be less than 10. These are the two important points of a winding, and in the winding, cage suspension gear is the important part. So, whatever the parts of cage suspension gear, they should not be used beyond 6 years, and they should undergo NDT testing, that is non-destructive testing, and similarly the factor of safety shall not be less than 10 for components of suspension. All cage chains in general use and all the other parts of suspension gear between the rope and cage or other means of conveyance, including the detaching hook, this is the important part, shall be taken apart, cleaned and carefully examined as to wear and tear and for rust and cracks once in at least in 6 months. So, every 6 months proper cleaning should happen. If any flaw is there, then it should go for NDT, non-destructive testing. If necessary, even at short intervals also, depending upon the how the I mean to say production or something, how often you are using the winding, all these things. Various parts shall be annealed or given other proper heatment in proper furnace where the temperature can be controlled or before being defeated. For detaching bell or plate used in connection with the safety wick shall be examined and opening therein checked for calipers, gauges at least in 30 days. So, there are some plates in the king safety hook, they should be tested for thickness every 30 days. The operations, examines required under this sub-section shall be carried out by under the supervision of an engineer or competent person who shall record the date and particulars thereof. So, these are all the data need to be maintained properly, because any accident happened due to winding, it is very serious. It is taken serious by chief inspector of the mines. And just now I am telling non-destructive testing shall also be adapted for testing of vital components of the machinery such as drum shafts, brake tie rods. Generally, non-destructive testing is done. Brake tie rods, suspension gears at regular intervals, these are all the things. And coming to haulage roadways, the provisions of sub-regulation 2 to sub-regulation 20 shall apply with respect to every length of the roadway in which where materials are transported in tubs by means of gravity or mechanical power. So, they should have a tracks properly laid. Actually, just like a railway track, the track should be properly laid. Pulleys, sheaves and rollers that alter the direction of the rope shall be securely fixed. So, in case of haulage roadways, pulleys, sheaves, rollers, they should be properly fixed. They should not be kept loose. No person shall guide or adjust a moving rope. So, when the rope is moving, no person try to tamper it. That is one of the important thing. You should not tamper a moving rope or a drum or pulley, sheave or something. Where haulage is affected by one or more ropes, there should be provided and maintained on top of the inclined lamp at least one stop block. Stop block is meant for preventing, I mean to say, backward runaway of tubs. This is one of the safety contrivance. at least one runaway switch. This is also a safety contrivance for preventing runaway of tubs, or other effective contrivance below the first top block, another at a distance greater than length of the set of the. So, where this runaway switch is located is one of the important aspect for FCC examination, which is conducted by the DMS. And attachment behind an ascending set of train of tub, that is backstay. So, behind the last tub, a backstay is there, which also prevents runaway of tubs. And apart from this stop block, runaway switch, backstay, safety hooks, charge rails, other suitable contrivances to prevent runaway in the forward directions. And apart from this, tub derailers at intervals. So, whenever tubs get derailed, so tub derailers will be there to keep the derailed tub onto the tub. On every haulage roadway exceeding 30 meters in length, effective means of transmission. So, communication aspect should be covered if the length of haulage roadway is more than 30 meters. And this is the signaling procedure actually. Here in case of olden days, when I went to the mine, 1 rap means stop, 2 raps means lower, 3 raps means start, 4 raps means raise. So, 1 and 3 are opposite, 2 and 4 up. So, 1 means stop, 3 means start, 2 means lower, 4 means raise. So, this is the signaling which should be known by competent persons, and then only they have to use these signals. So, this signaling, print any copy of signaling under subsection 5, including additional signals, if any, shall be posted prominently at the place in which the machinery that works the rope is operated at regular places. And on every haulage roadways, this is covered. And no person other than a competent person or an official shall give any signal. So, only competent person who is authorized to do that one, he should only carry out. Where in any mine below ground, a system of haulage extends a distance more than 300 meters from the shaft. So, efficient telephonic communication should be there. In case of haulage roadway is more than 300 meters, then efficient telephonic communication should be provided to maintain communication. Where telephones or electric signals are provided, adequate precautions shall be taken to prevent signal and telephone wires coming into contact. They should not come in contact with the electrical apparatus. To see that signal or telephone wire should not come in contact with the electrical apparatus, and signal wire should be supported on insulators and should not be energized at not more than 30 volts. Contact makers shall be so constructed as to prevent accidental causing of the circuits. So, whenever these, if the haulage roadway is more than 300, these 3 precautions need to be. And manholes, there should be manholes on the haulage roadway which should not be less than 1.8 meters in a height, 6 feet, and 1.2 meters in a depth, that is 4 feet, and width 0.75 to 1 meter. So, this is one of the important dimensions of the manholes. 1.8 is the height, that is 1.8 meters, and 1.2 meters is the depth, and the width not less than 0.75. It should be between 0.75 and 1 meter. Every manhole shall be kept clean and clear of obstruction and whitewashed both inside for a distance of not less than 0.3 meters. Because people, they want to save themselves and they will get into the manhole. So, they should be kept clear of obstructions, and it should be whitewashed for 0.3 meters around the aperture. As far as practicable, all manholes shall be provided on the one side of the haulage roadway. This is generally done. This has to be taken care of the mines manager. Coming to the summary of this today's lecture. So, various plans, surface plan, ventilation plans, duties and responsibilities of mines manager, duties and responsibilities of safety officer, duties and responsibilities of ventilation officer, cage suspension gear, and haulage roadways. Today's we have covered. Thank you.